So welcome. It's great to have you here for another monthly update. We'll continue with this in the name of transparency and just knowing what every one of us is doing. So thank you for being here and thank you for everyone who's also like presenting and talking a little bit about what their circle is doing, because I do think this transparency is great for collaboration, but also for the wider community and for decentralization. So we'll have today the monthly updates and we'll have as well a few words, right, Jan? Would you like to start with the questions we talked about before, or should we start with the updates and then ask the questions in the end?
I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, so I would suggest to start with
All right. Maybe you'll remember afterwards. I guess we were talking a little bit in the last call on Monday, but
decision making is what you're referring to.
yes, I think so.
Yeah, let's see how it works out. If we have some time left at the end of the meeting, we can land on that, and otherwise we'll define the whole thing a little bit better and then present it properly. So both would work for me.
Awesome. So I guess we can start with the updates, and for that, let's start with the first circle ever, the focus group, where we have here Vanny. Welcome, Vanny. Thank you for being here, and thank you for coming to share your updates from the focus group.
No worries. Do you want a screen share on it or so people can?
Yes, sure. Do you want me to screen share, or do you want me to give you permission to screen share it?
Either. I don't mind actually.
Okay. Uh, all right. I can screen share as well. Let me just. All right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. There we go. Yes. All right. So just running through what it says. The first thing is a new initiative that we're looking at the Photrec algorithms analysis. In our last report, and I think as people know, there's been ongoing discussions about what is the future role of the focus group. And one thing we've identified is that we really want to look at change management. And, this is kind of like, how does a change get socialized to people? How do we kind of make sure people understand the rationale behind it? And then a kind of empirical scientific method, I suppose, of looking at what was the change intended to produce, what did it produce, and what can we learn from that. So in line with this, we have lately been kind of looking at Israel's recent work, which has been analysing what would have happened in deep funding round four if Photrex voting algorithms had been used. At the time of deep funding round four, quite a few people said, let's not use Photrex algorithm in round four. And the focus group kind of supported that, but recommended that there should be some analysis at the end of the round so that we could see what would have happened if we had used it. And Israel's done some analysis, which gives us some insights into that. And for deep funding round five, the intention obviously is to implement the Photrec algorithms. So it's going to be really important to have that analysis so people can just kind of check that it's not going to produce outlandish results. So yeah, we found Israel's work really interesting. So thanks for that, Israel. And we do plan to meet up with you in the next few days, I think, to discuss the details, because we're going to be thinking about how the information then gets out to the community. We are planning to write a short piece as a focus group, giving our own insights into the topic and the plan to move to the new algorithm. And hopefully that'll be published by the end of the month. And in the longer term, we just feel that as part of change management and our interest in that, it is going to be important to track the effects of any change and record information about its effects. So this is a really good demonstration of how that can be done and tracking how the community actually feels about the change. So we hope to try and get some insights into things like how aware are voters of the algorithms that are in place and the reasons for them. And maybe as a focus group, we'd like to have a bit of input into the written information that is going to be available to voters on the deep funding site, for example, to help them understand transparently how voting works. Because a lot of people, yeah, they vote, but I don't think they really know what all the algorithms behind it are and why. The next thing, it's both an insight and a new initiative. If you can just scroll down a little bit for us, nice one. We're looking at what you were just talking about, really, the diversification of the funding process and how the decision making might go on all these different things. A lot of our meeting time in the last month has focused on these different things, you know, community-led RFPs, partner and third-party RFPs, open challenges, all these things. And we've been ideating a bit on decision making that might be used and ensure that it's appropriate for each kind of funding stream and suited to it and makes community engagement with those decisions possible. And then the last thing we're mentioning is how the community engages with change. It kind of relates to the first thing I was talking about. Over the last month, we've explored all sorts of questions around how the deep funding community engages with change. We're particularly interested in how the rationales behind changes are shared, like we were saying, so that the community members understand the reasons for them. And we're also interested in how community members get heard and how far they feel empowered to suggest changes themselves and to comment on or even reject changes that are proposed. We feel sometimes people are a little bit backward in feeling, not backward in coming forward. They will raise issues, but they don't necessarily feel they can have much effect. So this is an area that we'll continue to examine in our meetings, in line with our proposed aim to champion decentralisation. And we hope to develop ways to survey, track, and perhaps even measure the community's level of engagement with change. That's about all from us.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Fanny. Very informative and very interesting things you're thinking about for sure. Also, if anyone wants to comment, ask questions or whatever, just feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to unmute after these presentations and to ask your questions. So I think that's really important. But if there's no questions, I think we can move forward to the review circle. And I think we'll have either Slate or Sucre and Spice presenting us with their updates.
Yes, I'm here. Good day, everyone.
Hello, good day, Sucre.
Yeah, good day. Please could you share screen again?
Okay, I guess everyone wants the share screen. All right.
No. You were showing the review cycle report. Okay.
This one, right?
Yes. Please. Okay, thank you. So the first one we have here is onboarding of reviewer. We actually needed a technical reviewer to be part of our review team, and we did that. So we now have a new reviewer for the technical side of things. And then the expert review team selection is still ongoing, and we've also made sure that we added individuals who have marketing and other different expertise other than the technical side, which is going to be useful in the coming round. And then for operations, operations did some automations, to make the whole process easier when we audit deliverables. And after some discussions with them, with the new guidelines, we were able to implement that, and everything has been working well so far. And then for the milestone deliverables, we have 16 deliverables this month, and each of them has been audited. We only had one rejected deliverable, which the proposer is working on right now. So that's about it for the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sukran, for the update and for sharing your hard work with the community. Well, if there's no questions, no comments, I guess let's move forward to the operations circle, where we'll have either Jojo or Victor. I'm not sure if Jojo is in the call, so it might be you, Victor, if Jojo is not here.
Yeah, I'll be doing that. I didn't even know that he won't be in the call. So we have successfully the point one, which is we have successfully updated our database and our automations and our analytics tooling for the review cycle process, like Sukren mentioned. So there are improvements that we made, and to make automations and to make reviews and all that a little bit easier. And yeah, so that's like one of the main our points one. And then payments, circle payments, both payment for the all circles and payment to awarded teams. Yeah, we have implemented it in a way that it has become easier. And then there is this process of CSV generation, blah blah blah. It's more like a Rojo thing. Is better. At least he'll be able to explain it even better than I am. But yeah, it's now using this CSV generation in the operation system, which is the website that you guys know. And then we are now going to be improving it with some minor improvements over the next couple of weeks. Probably next week it should be live. And like Rojo said during the last presentation, we are now planning on automating, because I personally update the website whenever there is a payment made, or whenever a milestone is completed and all those kind of stuff. I go to the back end of the deep funding website and make these updates. So right now we are now working with the developers of the back end of the website, the current deep funding website, to see how we can integrate an API that would be doing these things automatically. So which is like our point 3. So when a project has made payments, it will be automatically updated. When a project has made their submissions, it will be automatically updated on the website. So I don't really have to do all that anymore, except maybe there are a few corrections that I need to make. But yeah, that's like the point 3. And yeah, those are what we have been working on throughout this month.
All right. Thank you so much, Victor. Ayo, you had your hand up. You want to do any comment or say anything?
Yeah, yes. Good afternoon, everybody from here. So it was a question for Sucre. I was looking for the button and then it didn't come up. So I can wait until later. Or
No, please
can
go
answer.
ahead. I think interaction is
Okay.
nice, and I like to hear other voices than my own.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Sucre, thank you. Very good one from Review Circle. So because we've been talking quite somewhat about onboarding within the deep funding circles and all of that. So I was wondering that is there any specific type or specific process, or what's it like onboarding the expert reviewers? I mean, or if I heard you correctly, so you were looking for expert reviewer for review cycle, technical rather. That's what you said, technical. And then you have that now. So what's it like onboarding them? How do you know that, okay, so this person knows what to do? This person knows how to do these things, but does this person know what to do in this ecosystem generally? So what's the onboarding been like? Just curious.
Okay, first of all, we were not looking for an expert reviewer. We were just looking for a reviewer. Expert reviewers are going to come in round 5, so that's a different thing. So we're looking for just a technical reviewer to work on the current proposals we have, which we have done. For expert reviewers, there's already a process ongoing. People have applied, and there's a team that's looking at these applications to choose the best fit for what we need for round 5. So that's actually quite different than
Yeah,
I can't
I
go
mean,
into.
no. I corrected myself. I said technical. I realized I was saying technical. So you have the technical reviewer now. What was the onboarding like? That was my question.
Okay, yeah. Basically, what we do, we just run them through the whole process of how to do reviews and what is expected of them. So, well, I'm the coordinator for the business side, not for the technical side. So I guess technical would have a little more detail than what I would have given. But it's basically the same thing with what reviewers are doing. So I just wanted to correct that it's not an expert reviewer that we onboarded. It was just a reviewer. who was going to review technical things. If you get what I
All
mean.
right. Yeah. Thank you, Secretary.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sukren really answered the exact question you were asking. But I remember that if you want to be onboarded into a review circle, as at the time when we were looking, as at the time I was a coordinator over there and we're looking to onboard new reviewers, we dished out a form and we got people applying from various applications, from people from Catalyst, Cardano Catalyst, reviewers from Cardano Catalyst and all that. And that was the point where we had to go through the form, and according to your responses, we picked people. I think that was when Miss Adi, like Princess, entered into review circle, and yeah, a couple of them. But I guess in this particular case, this particular technical reviewer was very well recommended by Raphael himself. So in this case, I don't think they went through a form or something, I guess. So it was a recommended technical reviewer from Raphael, and he was just onboarded, since we all know that he's a good technical reviewer.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Super.
Awesome. Thanks, Ayu, for the question, and thank you, Sukren and Victor, for the answer. I guess we'll move forward with the updates, and right now it will be the time for the review circle to share its updates, and I guess it's myself. So yeah, basically we've been progressing well with the regional town halls, but we decided to evolve them, as we previously mentioned, from regional town halls to community hubs. We are making some changes, interesting changes for these community hubs and perspectives for the future, which are taking a little bit more work to have the framework and the RFP ready, but I think we'll come up with something much better at the end of the day. And I think that's what we want, something that can be impactful and I guess be lasting and not just temporary and full of problems. So we are being careful there and trying to pull something good. Besides that, we're working internally as well to help to create a little bit of content of our own to be able to share it on these events, like content that could be interesting for the community, for new people coming, but also for the current community. And we want to mix this content with the content you guys create yourselves as a community, because these events are still the space for you, and we'll leave it for moments where we don't have as many things coming out of the community and might be interesting to have something different. Finally, as you know, and we had an open all ends, the last open all ends, we presented Monica to the community. She'll be onboarding as well into the event circle, and yeah, she'll be facilitating onboarding into our circles, and excited to see what comes from there. Our focus and our goal is to empower and make the best contributions, even though she'll be working a little bit on her own and working with the community and the different circles. She's in the event circle, and she'll play also hopefully a important role in onboarding people as through our town hall, through our events, and through other situations. And of course, besides that, we kept rolling with our events, and we intend to keep on going. So yeah, if there's no questions, let's move to the Dev Outreach Circle, where we have Ubio. Oh, Ayo, question. Thank you. Thank you for making me talk more. Please, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Raphael. So this is not so much a question as it is a comment. And so this was supposed to just stay within the event circle. But I have a feeling that as it goes, somebody else might just see it and then say it. So there's no point keeping it. Don't worry, I know you're wondering. So it's not like a secret, it's just something. So we had a call today. We're still in November. So yeah, so still kind of goes with November. And then we realized that the way things are shaping in the event circle, that so event circle used to be called town hall circle, and then now we are called event circle. And then we realized that yes, we are event circle, but the responsibility of community engagement, community being kept in the loop, all of these things falls directly to us: community websites, community events, regional town halls, RFPs for hubs. So realized that, oh, maybe we are actually events and community circle. And so it was a thing that we mentioned in the meeting today. I mean, functionality, of it. So I just thought it would be a very cool, not so serious thing to point out while we are presenting for the event circle. So yeah, thank you.
If I may, I think that makes a lot of sense. We have a developer outreach circle, and then we have a community outreach circle, and then we have marketing to support both of these circles. So I think these three circles work very well together. And then it also ties into what Vani was saying before. If we're thinking about how changes and rationals on what we're doing are accepted by or interpreted by our community, then yeah, we also have different communities there, right? We have our community, our internal community of circles. We have the developer community of awarded teams, and we have the wider community of interested people around deep funding. So maybe we also see some differences there occur in how people interact with deep funding, how they interact with changes also, and yeah, definitely how we interact with them. So if we are thinking about community hubs and such, yeah, definitely the event circle is also a community circle, I would say. Nice thinking. It all comes together.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys for the moment. I'll go ahead of you. Sorry. I guess you don't want to say anything else? All right. Awesome. Well, let's hear it for Ubio and the Dev Outreach Circle. Ubio, can you speak?
Yeah, Judy is taking it.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it if you guys can hear me, because on my screen, all you guys are frozen. But if you can hear me, I'll go ahead. In the developer outreach circle, we had two major initiatives this month. The first thing we brought to life was the onboarding program, like the onboarders training program. The point was to train onboarders to help projects onboard onto the SingularityNet marketplace, which has been a challenge, and we really didn't have enough people that know how to onboard projects to the marketplace. So it really took a long time, and there was always lots of questions. So we thought there's definitely a need for training people. So that's what we did. We put out a call to the community and asked, hey, who would love to be an onboarder? And we had 8 people responding, and they will be going through a several-week training program to become specialists in onboarding projects to the SingularityNet marketplace. So that was the first initiative. Secondly, finally, after a month of planning and ideating, we launched our first hackathon, the first deep funding hackathon. It went live on November 18th. We originally just wanted to have 10 teams participating, but we had over 34 people saying that they want to take part. So we have a fairly large group now, and the hackathon is live. It's still going to be live for an entire week. The people are very motivated. We ran into a lot of challenges while organizing it, everything from even just settling on a topic. There was lots of things on the technical side that went wrong, and just doing it for the first time. Yeah, we ran into lots of problems. So we're even more proud as a team now that we all pulled together, and it is actually happening after so many months. I think we started the idea, when did we have the idea? I think it was around June. So it's almost been half a year. So we're really happy that it's finally happening. And yeah, we can't wait what the builders are building. I'm sure there's going to be lots of creativity involved, and we can't wait to see who the final 3 winners out. So yeah, that's the updates for this month.
All right. Oh, Jan, as hands up, please, Jan, make your questions. Or
First of all, I think it's absolutely amazing. If
The mic is mute.
I thought it was me. Yeah, Jan, you're muted.
damn it,
There
could
we
you say that
go.
earlier? So I just wanted to congratulate you first of all, because if you would have asked me before on the hackathon how many teams you would be able to successfully onboard, I would probably have guessed maybe 4 or 5 if you're lucky. So yeah, if you now have 35, I think it's 34 individuals, right? Not 34 teams, or is it actual teams?
Yes, it's 30. It's 34 individuals.
Yeah,
You made a mistake.
I think that is above and beyond anything I would have expected. I don't know what your own expectations were there, but I think that's really amazing. And I've been wanting to ask you all the time about that onboarding thing, how many people apply to that, and always slipped my mind. So to see that there are 8 people that actually want to help on onboarding. I mean, let's be honest, both things, we have a service from Votrack on risk management, and we have onboarding people. Both things are not the most sexy things you can think of, right? So if you are managing to get that many people wanting to help and to support and to build on these kind of things, I think that's absolutely amazing. One thing I want to ask or mention on the onboarding thing. So yesterday, some people were a little bit surprised. The core platform team wasn't aware that a hackathon was being done. So they were like, don't we need to support? And why didn't we know that? And don't we need to do something? I think that will all be okay, especially because we are using one existing service and not onboarding new services. But also in the onboarding track, it would be good to make sure that the onboarding team and also the platform team is aware of what we are doing there, so that we have have alignment and short lines basically.
Julio.
Ubio, do you want to respond to that?
No, I don't think that needs response. I think that's something we need to rather take as a feedback.
But it's great to have these people. It's great to be able to help and guide and support people in onboarding. I love the initiative. It's an old wish, actually. So yeah, my observation is here, and I'll probably make it more often. We are improving and becoming more professional as a deep funding organization on all levels, whether it's automation or reviewing or now developer outreach. I think that's absolutely great. So well done.
Thank you.
But actually, we had a call with the team, so I don't understand how they were unaware of it. I mean, we had a call with them
With
a
whom?
while ago.
With whom?
Well, with Albina, and who else was it? I mean,
Yeah, I had a call with Mike and Albina about a month.
I'm not sure how they were unaware of.
That is really amazing. That is
So
really
they told me that it's going to be a little bit difficult, at least at that point in time, to support the hackathon. So that's why I just moved on, and I was like, I'll kind of provide the support myself. But yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. The call wasn't very positive from them, so we decided to just move on. So what they didn't know was that we finally moved on. So and we did it anyways.
yeah, so you did well, and I think all's good, and it's also part of the learning process. Who do we need to involve, and what do we need to mention in advance, etc. But it's a small thing. But yeah, also for the onboarding process, because things are changing also. the onboarding should be getting much easier these days. It's also important to stay aligned, but I would expect also Ishan knows everything about that and will keep things aligned, right, Ishan?
Yep, of course. And then if I do run into any problems, I'm sure Mike and Albina can make a little bit of time here and there. They're always great support.
All right, cool, great.
But that would mean we have to inform them. I think that's the feedback I got from the whole process.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
make sure that people are not surprised that they're aligned. And probably if we would have informed them and they would have understood properly, they would have said, okay, that's good, and nothing more. I don't think a lot of extra thing. Maybe they would have made sure, would have been a little bit more alert and made sure that there is support if something would go wrong or if something would not function. But yeah, no harm done.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that for me, the big takeout from the whole process, like I told Jan earlier, is the diversity with the teams, right? I love the fact that we are having a broad spectrum of people. We at the last count, I think more than 10 countries. So it's a very represented participatory group. So that's what for me, that's the most beautiful part of it. The fact that we have people from more than 10 countries in nearly all the continents, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, that's even United States of America. That for me, that's the most beautiful part of it, and that's so every time I look back, like that's what I'm taking out of the process.
Awesome, yeah, that's for sure great, and it's for sure it's awesome to see the work you guys are doing. Hackathon seems incredible, and onboarding is something that people are always complaining since since the time I'm here. So definitely great to have an onboarding expert and to have people that will make it easier for projects to come into the platform. I guess now moving forward, I can ask maybe Judith or Juan Pablo if you have any updates you'd like to share from the marketing circle, or if you're available to do it right now or not.
Yeah, I mean, if Mauro isn't there, I haven't looked at haven't seen the report he wrote, but I'm just gonna do it on top of my head. I think our main priority this month was to support the developer outreach circle with advertising the hackathon and getting people to sign up. JP has done a phenomenal job sharing it in every channel consistently every day, and I think that's the main reason why we have so many people that signed up. Lucas has done fantastic in providing all the graphics on time. Another focus point for the marketing circle was to follow up with all of the people from the Cardano summit, which that was quite of a way more challenging task than we thought, because a lot of them were connecting with us personally, like with the people that were there. So our inboxes were pretty full, and not everybody chose to follow Deep Funding on Telegram or engage on the social media channels. So yeah, it was a big task to follow up with everyone individually. From that, I have to say, I would say really positive feedback. Some of the people from Cardano Summit are now in the hackathon because we mentioned it during the workshop. And overall, there was lots of interest. I got several messages with, can you please exactly give me the date of Deep Funding round 5, because I definitely want to sign up. So yeah, it was lots of DM work, I suppose. But I think there was the two main things we did this month. JP, add something if you think I forgot something. But I think that was the main thing. And I think something else that's happening in the marketing circle is the active recruitment, but Raphael is in charge of that. So I think there's a call happening today with all the people that have applied to the marketing circle, which I think it's quite a lot. But yeah, if anyone is interested, always reach out. We're looking for lots of creative talent, especially in terms of content writing for the website and social media.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for the website. And definitely, even right now, I'm getting some messages of people asking when is the next round. So I guess on that side, yeah, it would have been good to have a round immediately just to tell them go, go. But now I've told them should be around January. Let's see. We'll keep following up, and hopefully they'll be there when the time comes. Thanks for the update as well, Judith. And now we are just missing the update from the deep funding team. Jan, go ahead.
Okay, wow, I didn't really prepare this, but if so, everybody has had their slot. So there's a lot going on in deep funding, and a lot that needs to be done and built also in the next year. I think we're really moving to deep funding 2.0, or maybe we're skipping 2.0 and going right to 3.0. And it starts at a low level from the legal, for instance. We are improving our contracts together with a legal team. We have now an entity, we are part of an entity in the BVI, which also creates new opportunities in terms of things like treasury management. That enables us to create some smart contracts to do things that we're not able to do before. So that also builds on a foundation. And therefore, I'm also extremely happy to see also the strong work being done on our automation part. So all of these things, legal, accounting, automations, smart contracts being part of that, build a very strong foundation or give us a strong foundation on which we can build further. And if you were able to stay awake on last Thursday in our town hall and listened, then the word diversification came along a lot. So yeah, the vision that I'm trying to lead towards is a vision of diversification, where we have more different ways of funding teams. The diversification also applies to the community themselves. So Raphael here told about the RFP that we are preparing. When we started thinking about that, we thought it's an RFP for other regional town halls, but now we're thinking about, well, it could be any organization, community organization or collective that organizes themselves over any topic. It could be robotics or DeFi or sustainability or ethics or whatever. So in that way, we are diversifying our community. And yeah, I also see potential to diversify funding streams. It might not in the future all come from deep funding anymore, but also from third parties. That could be in the form of a partner RFP, or maybe we will have RFPs that are completely funded by third parties. And it might also be that if these community hubs are very successful, that they might be able to extract other sources of funding for particular things they want to do, for which the deep funding treasury is not suitable. So this would also mean that we would make deep funding more into a platform where multiple parties can use, and ultimately maybe have some kind of platform where community hubs can even create their own deep funding rounds or hackathons or RFPs, etc. Now, this is a long-term vision, but all of that I think is made possible by this groundwork that we're working on right now, having a legal structure, having good contracts, having good accounting, having a good backend automation. And then, yeah, what I also hear today is we are becoming more professional on each and every circle. So great to have automation, great to have this onboarding support, great to have this first hackathon unfolding very successfully. And great to have an event circle that is organizing this, but also will be instrumental in the community hubs. And also great, if I may use that word once more, to hear Io here saying that the event circle is about the community. I think that's spot on. So yeah, a lot of great things happening here. And yeah, the future has never looked so bright, I would say. And yeah, thank you, Judith, for calling out on Raphael. I was going to mention that indeed. So one challenge that we will have if we are doing all these things and we're becoming more diverse in both funding and communities, etc. Communication is a challenge, and I think we can improve on that area. I noticed that even when we only had rounds and nothing else, and we only had one page of rules, it was still hard for some people to understand what we were doing exactly, and there were still questions. So imagine if we have rounds and RFPs and RFP creation and open challenges and maybe even crowdfunding or whatever, how complex it will be and how hard it is to make that whole message and that whole communication easy to understand for everybody who visits for the first time, for instance. So yeah, I'm happy with how the recruitment went. We already see some people emerge and on board. Unfortunately, we accidentally planned these two sessions at the same time. So Raphael and me said, well, it would be best if I go here and Raphael goes to the onboarding team. So he will take the lead in well, marketing 2.0, if you want. To extend the capabilities there and also to make marketing enable marketing to support these other circles like development outreach and like the events thing. So is that everything? Yeah, so if we have all of that ready, if we have the website and the communication and also these automation and escrows that we will have for partners, etc., ready, I think then we set the stage for a new phase of growth. So it's great that we have done this hackathon, and I hope we will do more hackathons, and I'm pretty confident that we can also make even larger hackathons, and that will really bring a lot of new people and a lot of new faces, and yeah, wonder where we will be next year at this time, or 1.5 years from now. I think we will have grown significantly, and also our community will have grown significantly by that time, especially if we make even 50% of what we want to do real. Judith, you must be tired of having your hand up all the time.
I just met some very talented developers that are working for Google, and I showed them the deep funding RFPs, and they were really interested in applying. However, on the website, it says there's only a few days left until the deadline passes. So what happens if no one applies and this deadline passes? Are they going to be taken off the website? Are you going to relist them or extend the deadline, or how does that work?
That might depend. There might be a case-by-case situation, but I think we still have about 10 days, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, they are until the end of the month visible, so they have that much time. We're also engaging in some PR efforts to get more people to these RFPs. I'm pretty confident we'll see quite a few more proposals than we have today. It might also be the same dynamic as we see in rounds, that a lot of proposals will be issued, submitted at the last few days or the last 24 hours even. But what we will do for each proposal is if the deadline has ended, we will assess the proposals If there are a number of proposals that are good enough, we will probably select one and then it's closed. If we think that we could use more better proposals, we might extend it for a certain time, and we might use that time to reach out to more proposals. But that will be a case-by-case decision for every RFP, which is a benefit of the RFP. So it's more or less, well, it's not a coincidence. It's done by purpose that all these RFPs have now the same ending date. But I think going forwards, we will always see different RFPs with different life cycles and different closing dates.
Thank you.
So tell them to hurry up, but it might
Yes,
be
I did.
that they might be extended, but we don't know. But we are flexible. The only thing that I think we won't do or we shouldn't do is to award a mediocre or not so good proposal because it's the only proposal that we get. If we don't get any good proposals, we should not award anybody. So that's also an option.
All
But
right.
thanks for making advertisements for this for these RFPs and sending good developers to us. Much appreciated. Really great work. Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm a walking billboard for deep funding. I'm not kidding. That's all I talk about.
And
I'm
a very
stealing
good
people
one.
from Google. I'm so happy. I'm stealing talent from Google.
Great. So this all fits in the picture, right? We are improving. We are professionalizing. Also, these RFPs will attract a different audience than, or at least partly a different audience than we had before. So yeah, things are changing and things are becoming more maybe mature, more serious, more better. More better. I think they're becoming more better.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Jan, for the update. Thank you as well, Judith, for the questions and the interactions and for being a walking billboard for deep funding. And I guess now, does anybody else has any topic you'd like to raise, anything you'd like to speak about? This is also a good cue for you to enter. Jan, if you want to speak about anything.
Maybe I can come back to that thing you mentioned at the beginning, Raphael. So I just made an overview and gave my thoughts and showed all the things that are being worked on today. Actually, one ingredient here is also decision making. So Vani mentioned it already. And decision making needs to happen on very different levels in our organization. So the bigger guideline remains that every decision will be made on the lowest possible level of the organization. So if you have a topic within your circle and you want to make a change or whatever, you don't need to discuss it with the whole of the organization and not even with me or Raphael. You can do it most of the time. However, there are also, if we're going along and if we're doing all the things that we're planning, we might need to, or we will need to make decisions, for instance, on which ideas that are being submitted will be propagated to an RFP. Or if we are looking for community hubs, well, this is being initiated by the event circle, but these community hubs as such have a wider reach and an importance and impact on what deep funding is going to be. So we might also want to involve a wider circle of people in that decision-making process. Also things, and we discussed that already a half a year ago or longer, if we want to engage with partners, we could have a discussion on which partners we do or do not want, or how much of our treasury we want to allocate to which partner if we have a luxury position in that. And then the highest thing is something that I'm discussing now with the BVI of that we are part of. our discussions in the sense of who decides how much of our treasury we can spend, let's say, this year on a round, or how much should we be spending on Singularity Net RFPs, and how much can we spend on partner RFPs. So these really high level things, I think it is a good thing to have that on a different level and not on the community level, because there should be no personal gains or personal liabilities or personal how do you call that, preferences being at stake. So it should be a different kind of decision. So we'll have decisions on different areas, and this is another topic that needs some attention. So how are we doing decision making in this program with you people? I think the best thing for me to do right now is to write it down, what kind of decisions we expect, and to make a proposal on how we see that happening. Maybe I won't tell, well, if you're interested, I can tell a little bit more about my ideas, but maybe we can wait until that is done and let you read what I've written down, and also discuss it with the focus group. And then I would also be at some point very interested in who of you would want to be part of decision making outside of the circle that you're working in. It's not an obligation, it's not a requirement, but it would be good for me and us to know who would be interested in participating in those kind of things as well. So I think for now I can leave it at that, and then we'll come back at it next time in a more structured way. But knowing that decision making and also how we make decisions together as all circles is an important component in growing and becoming more mature as an organization. That's it.
All right, thank you. And if anybody wants to say anything, please do. We can also all go back home and reflect a little bit on decision making, on the best way to do it and how we want to be involved. I think that's also positive because it's not a simple topic, right? Besides that, is there any topic anyone wants to speak about? Anything you'd like to introduce to the conversation? Or is everyone ready to wrap this call up?
Any questions? Feel free to ask.
Yes, as well.
I have one, which is a bit sort of, it's a bit going back to a conversation that we were having quite some time ago, in the new structure for the deep funding rounds. So before there were things like a marketing pool and some, let's say, soft pools. And as far as I understand it, the new structure kind of significantly, probably deliberately, significantly reduces the options to submit to those things. So I'm just wondering how it would work if a team had something that was one of these softer ideas, but that was a reasonably well-developed proposal already. So it wouldn't quite fit into the category of an RFP or similar, but is already a reasonably well-developed, let's say, marketing initiative that they wanted to put forward. How would that go through deep funding, or is that now fairly definitively excluded?
That's a good question. I don't have a completely clear answer to that. So Raphael, together with a work group on deep funding around 5, landed on an option to have fewer pools, not have tooling and not have open. We had one that was undefined or something. And I think we will see some RFPs coming in place. So one thing so for instance, there is the RFP for community hubs that is created by the event circle. So maybe our program will create some RFPs. I think for marketing, we need to create a kind of framework or an RFP in itself that would allow teams to submit an initiative. And then also there, we need some decision making to determine which of these proposals will be awarded. A third option I can give you is we are working on the RFP create flow, where anybody can submit an idea, and some of these ideas will be elevated to become an RFP, and we will create that RFP together, and then we'll select the proposals. So that would be a third way. And I think there's also some need here for what I call open challenges, which don't have a specific deadline, but where you could submit your idea to whomever, again, will be deciding on that. Actually, we have some ideas on a framework there, but and I can imagine one such challenge would be that we allocate a budget for marketing proposals that can be submitted at any time during the year, and each will be assessed on their own merit. But this takes work. We are not there yet. So we're in a little bit of a transitional period where we are removing some of the pools, and we're at the same time building other functionality, which takes a little bit of time. So I can imagine that if in the meantime there will be a very good idea and that we would love to support, maybe we can just fund it as an RFP. But again, ideally, therefore, for that, we also would like to have some kind of decision-making process, so it doesn't all land on one person to make those decisions. So, yeah, actually, that the whole decision thing is also quite urgent in the context of all these things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So when you say that you develop, if somebody comes up with an idea, then you develop an RFP, do you mean that you would we would kind of retrofit an RFP for that purpose, or how do you mean?
Well, we did it in a different way. So first of all, there was this community knowledge graph that started a year ago. And we just did it as an experiment. We funded the teams that were working on that, and then it ultimately became an RFP without any process. Then what we did as a kind of intermediate solution, in the last round, we had a pool for RFP design proposals. So anybody could submit their idea for an RFP and have it awarded. And that would be another route to creating an RFP. I hope we'll get to work pretty quickly, and in a couple of months, maybe we'll have the RFP create flow. So that would be a very concrete way of ideating, and we'll have some decision process behind that, so we can select the best ideas, the most urgent ideas, important ideas, and make them into RFPs. And yes, I want to keep a little bit of flexibility until we have all these things developed. If also, I mean, we might also see ideas emerge from the all circles, right? If there's a need for a tool or for something to be done, that might require an RFP to be issued. Yeah, we can always find a way to do that. But of course, I'd rather have this formalized and yeah, constrained by proper processes. But in the meantime, and until we're there, I try to be flexible where possible.
Yeah, I understand. I suppose I'm thinking more from the opposite direction. So what you're describing is mostly a kind of, oh, what do we need and how do we fulfill that need? Whereas actually I'm thinking from an opposite perspective of if somebody has already observed a need and come up with a great solution for it, then how do they enact that in the network? And also I'm thinking about, I suppose, cross-pollination between different groups. So for example, if the ambassadors came up with a really great marketing scheme that would really benefit deep funding, then how would they go about getting that funded through deep funding, that sort of malleability?
If you would ask me right now on the spot, And the thought that occurs to me now is maybe we can route it through the circles. And if it is aligned to a circle, we can give the circle members a vote in whether it's appropriate. So if you would have a marketing idea for deep funding, we can route it through the marketing circles, and they can be the first one to review and to advise maybe a wider group of circle members on whether this is a good idea. So the marketing, could also go through the event circle or developer outreach circle or the automation circle or whatever. That would already give us quite a wide scope of things that we might, fund in some way, support in some way.
Cool. Thank you.
And this is actually also the direction that I was thinking about currently on decision making, where, for instance, in the community hub, in the event circle, the RFPs on community hubs, that the event circle would do would be the first filter, and they would say, well, we really like these 8 proposals. We think they're all good enough. And then we'll ask a wider group of circle members that want to be part of that kind of decision to make the final decision on which of these 8 will then be really awarded, and maybe bring it down to 5 or 4 or something. So in general, we could have a situation where we start with a group of experts that make a first filter, and then a wider group in the all circles will come together to make the final decision on which proposals get funded. So this is part of the decision framework I was referring to, and I thought maybe we'll present it in a more structured way the next time. But since you're asking this question, we could experiment with that already, and we could treat it as an experiment and see how that works.
Sounds great. Yeah, so that's interesting. So it wouldn't be going through a normal voting event. It would be going through the decision process that you're describing there.
Yeah, well, we need to think about that a little bit more thoroughly. It depends on the topic. It depends on the thing. So if it's an RFP or an RFP proposal, we might do it differently. Another observation here, since we're at the topic, is if we get to a situation where we are diversifying our communities and funding methods, we will also get into a situation, if we are successful at that, where we have much more events than we have today. We might have more rounds, we might even have overlapping rounds at some point. Not very soon, but at some point. And that will make it very hard to leave all kinds of decisions to a general community. We can't ask the community to vote on 100 proposals on a weekly basis. Nobody has time for that. So in that situation, there is the possibility that we go to more representative decision making. And it could be part experts, community experts that we have educated and assessed, etc., and that are also coming from the community, that are in a way community representatives. And the latest thing that and this is really like a couple of days old or something, so these are just new thoughts, but happy to share it with you. We might balance that out with something like community delegates that are not chosen on their expert knowledge in a domain, but because other communities think they have a good sense of judgment. So that might go a little bit more in the direction of liquid democracy, if you will. So we would have expert reviews and assessment on one hand, and a more community delegate driven thing on the other hand, which might be have liquid properties where you can delegate your votes to somebody else. And then, yeah, marry that together somehow and weigh it or do it in a certain order, first the experts and then the community, or the other way around, or combine it. There are a lot of options on the table, but that is in this whole thing and all these things that are changing and improving. This is one more component and one more piece of the puzzle that we need to solve. Won't be solved next week, but would be great if we make some progress, and that if a year from now, yeah, we would have some working framework for at least 80% of the cases that we encounter. Thank you for the heart, Judith. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of complexity around like how much of it is going to be formalized into voting and how much of the liquid democracy is enacted in discussions and kind of in-person decisions and so on. I'll be interested to keep updated with that. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a kind of tendency to move more into a gated process where we assess proposals on quality and feasibility and all of that. And yeah, I think also if I look at the voting, the number of people that voted in the last round, for instance, if we would have many more situations. So also RFPs, we talked about RFPs and the life cycle. So if we have a new RFP or 3 new RFPs each week, and that would also mean that every other week or every week at some point, we'll have a set of proposals that we need to vote upon. Yeah, we need to have some kind of representative function. We can't do it with the general community. Although, well, I might be mistaken as well. Maybe if our community grows and we become more interesting, etc., we'll find other ways of doing that. But yeah, the representative part, I expect for the time being, will also become an important ingredient.
All right. So it sounds like we need to have a lot of interesting discussions about, I guess, governance, decisions, etc. in the next few weeks, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to discuss. So one of the things I would like to discuss with you people in one of these occasions is that initiative, that idea about open challenges and how we can do the assessment on proposals there. And then, yeah, also a wider framework for other situations. So yeah, there's a lot of governance topics that are open for discussion in the coming time. So I'm counting on you to help me and others to help ourselves. Yeah, look at this from all angles and make wise decisions on decisions and on decision making.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Esther. Does anybody else want to introduce any other topic? Any comments, any questions? Well, I think if not, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your updates. Thank you for being involved in these discussions. And thank you, Ayo, for having a question. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is not a question. Thank you, Jan. I mean, I was thinking along all those lines, but I mean, I think it would be nice to have those conversations fresh. Like, I mean, we'll just come into the town hall or the all hands and just discuss that. So yeah, but mine is not a question. It's just me saying there's a conversation that we may start on the channel, and it is that there are people here who will be at the Cardano Constitution in Argentina. So it would be nice for deep funding people or peeps to be able to gather around and take a picture for us. I mean, it's an opportunity. Yeah, we could not do Turkey, Istanbul, but I mean, we can also leverage on the fact that somehow we have people here. So if you are going to be in Argentina for the Cardano event, please please drop a comment on the channel, on the All Circles channel, so that people know, and then so that you guys can all connect, and then so that get to share beautiful pictures with us, and then we'll enjoy the experience through you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Theo. Awesome. Put the message, I guess, Theo, there so that people see it, even the ones who are not here, I guess, and hopefully you'll get some answers.
Maybe one last thing, Raphael. You said we can have these discussions going forward. Last week I did something that I promised I wouldn't do again, have an hour-long presentation on a topic. I think, so this is my intention right now. I could, for instance, make a recording where I will explain, for instance, the open challenges, how I think they might work. And then we could have the next all hands in 2 weeks, for instance, and we could discuss that. Or we can do the whole decision framework first. Maybe it's good to have that open challenges first, because it will also help us think about a wider decision framework. So yeah, if you would agree to that, I can prepare that. I can make that video. Anybody can watch it before on triple speed, because I usually talk slow. And then we can have a more interactive meeting on that topic next time. How about that?
I think we're getting some yeses, and yeah, I think keeping it to a single topic is probably the best approach to make it easy for all of us, definitely.
Good.
Hey,
So let's stick to that for now, unless there are other things on the agenda, and I will, over the coming days, try to make some video on this open challenge thing, and then we can discuss that in 2 weeks.
Ayo?
Yeah, thank you, Ian. I was raising my hand and I dropped because I thought maybe it's possible that Raphael would mention that this was one of the things that we discussed at the event circle call as regards long presentations, engagements during presentations, and then so this is a good place to say that so the event circle, we are trying to get some feedback concerning what it is for people. I'm sure we all understand that there may be occasions where one of our presentations are necessary. It's also possible that people feel like, okay, maybe we can do something else or do it in a different way. So I'm glad that Jan is also thinking along that line. Some of the things that we considered was that maybe we would have we will let, even if its presentation is going to be 1 hour, we're going to break it into 15 minutes so that the issues raised or the changes presented or the information shared does not become too many for responses. So yeah, I just want to point out that we're thinking along the same line with the event circle here. And yeah, so it looks like the coming town halls and events will be quite interesting. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I think you'll even have a great opportunity in the coming town halls and open all ends to make that happen, as you'll likely be the one hosting them. So I think that's going to be awesome, and I'll love to hear the feedback. But yeah, thank you all for being here. If nobody else has anything to add, if you have, please, you still have time. If not, thank you all for being here, and we hope to see you again on the next town hall, Thursday at 8 p.m., 18 p.m. UTC. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.